pension funds are an essential lifeline for many people around the world. But I will discuss today how governments around the world have been stealing pensions. You came here for the truth, so let me unveil that for you. I'm going to get into this global issue that is taking place. So let's get into this right away. So many to cover. First, I'd like to cover into what exactly we're talking about with pension funds. Many people feel that these pension funds are 100% safe and secure. But this article out of Bloomberg, is your pension courting catastrophe? So right here, they are talking about exactly what they are not invested in, but gambling on. And they refer to it as picking up pennies in front of a steamroller, since the strategy appears profitable right up until you lose everything. And this is what they said. It's therefore somewhat concerning to read that pension funds are attempted to boost their returns by putting more money in catastrophe bonds and other insurance-linked securities. So you think that everything is so safe, so secure in a pension fund because, hey, they've always paid out and I need that money for my future. So they will definitely pay. There's no reason to worry. Right here, they said the pension plan for Ontario teachers, which is renowned in the industry for its size, savvy, and aggressiveness, has been trading catastrophe bonds for years. And what exactly happens when you get to that end where the steamroller is? Well, that's right. The government has to come in to pick up the pieces. And let's get into what happens when we run into this steamroller. Detroit attorney says pension cuts actually close to 50%. And when you think about it, how serious this is, if a person is going to lose significant amounts of money for that lifeline that's literally keeping them alive, what do you think is going to happen? See, they were accused of trying to bully the retirees with scare tactics. She said that the cuts affect at least 32,000 people and noted that the economic impact of severe cuts is going to be felt by a much larger area than Wayne County. Exactly. It's not just Detroit. It is not just the U.S., but it is the entire world. Let's get into more of these examples. I wrote about in my book how globalization has unified all of the markets around the world. Your pension fund, the value of your home, and the price you pay for food are all linked together, and we have derivatives sitting on top of all of that. There is no way you can excuse yourself from this, particularly when you require the government assistance. And this goes for so many people. That's why I do the work I do. That's why when somebody emails me, and this happens consistently, many, every single day, they email me, David, what can I do with my money? I need to prepare for the future. I'm about to retire and I'm worried about catastrophe. I don't just reply back with a 2-word reply. I give people as much information as I possibly can. I give them other resources, other books to read, and I don't just try to, sell my own book here. I am trying to give people the good information. You need to understand that it's not just the money GPS that's great. Everyone has to be sharing their own truths so that we can prepare for this. So I'm going to move on right here to more examples. The superannuation accounts are just accounting records, and they are not funds, nor are they trust-like. This is according to the Supreme Court in Canada, where they're allowed to do anything they want with your own money. And so the government was legally entitled to, quote, borrow internally from the pension surpluses to avoid the need for the external borrowing that would be otherwise required. See that? It's called intragovernmental debt. That's the way they work on it. This is out of the Star. And what they said was from 2001 to 2004, the federal government took or debited $28 billion out of the superannuation fund in its consolidated revenue fund. Essentially, they stole $30 billion out of the pension funds, and they promised that they'll pay it back, maybe, but probably not. But they said that they will do this, and they're allowed to legally, according to them. And of course, as long as the Supreme Court says it, they can do whatever they want. But this is just one more example. Let's go overseas into Portugal. Portugal raids pension funds to meet deficit targets. This is out of the Telegraph. Portugal has raided €5 billion of pension fund assets in a controversial scramble to meet its deficit targets. That's what happens when you run into a deficit. You have to engage in austerity measures. This is the kind of thing that the IMF will do. They'll say, we got to borrow from the future. You have to do whatever it takes to be able to pay back. And of course, we'll take our little cut under the table here. So this is one other example, and it goes into Hungary as well. Hungarian savers say the government is stealing their pensions. This article is out of Reuters. Rule change may see private pension funds nationalized. And, you can go in more of this. I'm going to move on. It goes again over into Russia. Earlier this month, the Russian government seized its citizens' pension contributions. So right here, you have all of your tax dollars going in, and you believe that they are being allocated in a certain way that they promised they would, but that changes very quickly. Just one example, here in Toronto, we have a mayor now that said he is not going to put any of the increased rates for the TTC, which is the metro system here. There are going to be no raised rates. I promise you that if I get elected, they're not going to raise the rates. And what did he do only months after getting in charge? Raise the rates. They lie every single time. Don't believe a word they say. Left or right, it's nothing but a false left-right paradigm used to trap you. There is just the lesser of two evils. As they say, democracy is two wolves and a sheep voting on what's for dinner. Normally, 6% of the Russian salaries is invested in financial markets earmarked for their retirement. This year, that $8 billion in contributions will finance Russian spending instead. See, they can decide whatever the heck they want to do with your money. Russia is not the first country to confiscate pension funds to pay its bills. Probably won't be the last, that's for sure. I've been covering a few already, but look at this list. Argentina, Hungary, Poland, Portugal, and Bulgaria have all done the same thing in the last 6 years. And they're going to continue to do so because that's what happens when you set up these QE policies that pump up the bankers and they commit bail-in strategies all around the world. That's the next one, but not the topic for today. Let's get on with this. Poland reduces public debt through pension funds overhaul. That's right, they're calling it an overhaul. It's not stealing, it's just an overhaul. Reform moves bond assets from private to state fund. They also said some equity assets to gradually move to state as well. See, they're not stealing it. It is simply overhauling the system. When they have a bail-in of our bank accounts, they're just overhauling the bank accounts. They're not stealing. So, of course, they'll be able to get away with everything. They've been doing so far. Argentina seizes pension funds to pay debts. Who's next? Says the Telegraph. Here is a warning to us all. The Argentine state is taking control of the country's privately managed pension funds in a drastic move to raise cash. They're in trouble, and what do they do in order to save themselves? They steal from the innocent. And these people who rely on their pension funds, they say right now that they can barely make ends meet. And this is not just in the US, this is in every country that I've been talking about here, where they rely specifically on this, and already as it is, they're struggling. They're going further and further into debt. So what's going to happen when they quote-unquote overhaul the pension funds? Well, they're going to end up on other government programs like the food stamps and like other programs, and they're going to need more and more assistance. But what happens when that assistance runs out? What happens when it dries up? Well, you have civil unrest, you have riots in the streets. We saw what happened all throughout Athens. We saw the riots in London. We saw what happened in Brussels with the anti-government protests. And this has been going on in different countries for the same reasons. In fact, people are upset. And the more that we see this go on, the worse it's going to get because it is contagious. So, I'm going to move on to one last thing. This is the UK. Britain's biggest company, pension funds, faced their largest shortfall ever as a result of the financial crisis. They estimate a pension fund deficit of more than $160 billion, more than double the US $65 billion estimated for those companies a mere 12 months previously. The pension funds are gambling, as I discussed in the beginning. They are involved in all of the greatest schemes that we have seen. They do this because they know they're always going to be bailed out. And they're going to be bailed out with your money through one means or another, whether that's through inflation or whether that's through direct taxation or an overhaul or a levy or a bail-in or any other method or mode that they use to steal it from us. And this is quite sad that this is the way that this has to happen. That's why I'm out here to bring you guys as much of this type of information as possible. Pension funds are extremely important to people. That's why I try to get people to prepare to evade pension funds altogether, so you don't have to rely on a pension fund, so that you can live to basically prepare for your own self to have your family safe and secure into the future. If you want this type of information, continue to watch these videos. They're free. Take the information and use it. If you want some more free information, that's where I have the Insiders. It's a completely free system that I've set up to basically answer the questions that I continuously get through my email. So if you get on there, you're going to get some free information in your email inbox. It'll be sent out to you every few days. I'm trying to work on some new stuff, so please bear with me while I get on that. People are asking me, when are the new emails coming? Have no fear. They're still being worked on, I assure you. I'm working on all sorts of programs, a live Q&A session coming soon. I've been really backed up with the emails, with trying to get my website complete. I'm also working on different programs for people. I've made this public already. I'll say it again. Essentially trying to make a different program for every different people. I'm going to have one for retirees. I'm going to have one for young people. I'm going to have one for those out of work. I'm going to have one for people trying to get out of debt, and different programs. And I'm going to make them available for free. And then I will have a premium, more polished version, which will be available for a small fee. But I'm always going to give out that free version always first, because that way I can get that information out to many people and help as many people as I possibly can. I hope you appreciate that. I'm seeing all of your comments, the kind words that you're giving me throughout the videos, throughout my email, and I truly appreciate that. I also appreciate the consultations that I've been getting, because many people are worried and they're concerned, and they realize that I'm there and available to help them. So if you want that type of information as well, a one-on-one with me, just email me. And the best place to get me is at the Insiders for sure, but you can also email me at david@themoneygps.com. But just to note, I get to people at the Insiders first. They do have priority. If you want to get on there, all you have to do is go to themoneygps.com, scroll down to the bottom, fill in your email address, and you get occasional emails from me with good, short, concise info.